Welcome to Matters Financial and Geopolitical from a Frontier. Thank you as always for stopping by. I hope you had a great weekend. Political reflections. Anyone who is mocking this image has no idea about what moves India and the imagery that has the power to stir India. The last person who understood this was Gandhi. Our entire political analysis is trapped in juvenile, pedestrian elitism. You mock this at your political peril. Modi is set to return to power with a bigger majority, exit polls show, projected to win anything between 339 and 365 seats in the 545-member lower house of parliament. To rule, a party needs to win 272 seats. At one point, Indian stocks look headed for the best day in over 3 years. The Sensex, last time I checked, was up 800 points. India's stock surged the most in 3 years, and the rupee gains after exit polls signaled Modi's coalition will retain power. The Sensex climbed as much as 2.6%. The rupee rose the most since December. Friend just sent me this from Vienna right now, the call for the resignation of Heinz Christian Strache. Chica. Love the way these guys protest. That dude put shame to any 1980s boombox. The Saudi king invited Gulf and Arab leaders to convene emergency summits to discuss the implications of this week's attacks against the kingdom and the UAE. Google suspends business activity with Huawei that requires transfer of software, hardware, technical info. I agree with T Commodity that China needs this deal much more than the US and that the domestic economy is in deep trouble. Barron's cover, the trade wars here, don't panic, why trade war fears are overblown. Truce dinner in Huawei, that's when I first wrote about the Huawei situation. Financial Times, US-China trade war, who will blink first? If prices go up, prices go up. It's going to hurt them, the Chinese, in the long run. So it's just a matter of who blinks first, he said as he stepped into his Honda Accord. That was the same question, tariff wars, who blinks first, I asked on the 9th of July last year. 15th of October, I was saying the incident with the USS Decatur, where a Chinese warship came within 45 yards of the Decatur in the South China Sea, is surely a precursor. The US Navy guided missile destroyer USS Preble on Monday sailed within 12 nautical miles of Scarborough Reef to challenge excessive maritime claims and preserve access to the waterways as governed by international law. 15th of October, I was quoting somebody who said this geopolitical contest will likely escalate dangerously. Powerful forces on both sides are driving the world's two strongest countries towards fully fledged confrontation. Nicolas Maduro sold over $500 million in gold over the past 2 weeks. Despite US sanctions, reserves fell to multi-decade lows, getting close to the finish line, says Hayek and Keynes. Gold actually has been a bit wobbly, and it's probably because of that. $12.75. As I said on the 4th of February this year, he's going down just like Muammar went down, and as did Saddam. August last year, I said Trump seems to be relishing his financial warfare strategies. Maduro's in Venezuela is being attacked by a remote-controlled drone. 8th of May, I was talking about Maduro's Venezuela being at breaking point. The Apocalypse Dow has been cancelled. This was the story that the intelligence the US had received was that dhows in the Gulf had been equipped with some kind of bomb. And that's why I was saying Apocalypse Dow, there is certainly a fin de siècle, even apocalyptic mood afoot. But I've no doubt that the Indian Ocean is set to regain its glory days. Of course, the dhows, this is a photograph of dhows from 1953 in the Mombasa harbour. And as you probably know, the precocity of the Indian Ocean as a zone of long-range navigation and cultural exchange, and that was driven by these dhows, is one of the glaring facts of history made possible by the reversible escalator of the monsoon. Do you think on some level Facebook's AI knows that the more it polarizes and inflames its 2 billion plus users, the more they'll engage with the contents and ads, and the more money it will generate? Mr. Mims. September 2012, quoting a US Army quarterly of 1997, one of the defining bifurcations of the future will be the conflict between information masters and information victims. Information warfare will not be couched in the rationale of geopolitics, the author suggests, but will be spawned, like any Hollywood drama, out of raw emotions, hatred, jealousy, and greed. Emotions rather than strategy will set the terms of information warfare struggles. It's no use fighting elections on the facts, it's all about emotions, said Andrew Nix.